So let me ask you. So you have been you worked as a stuntman for over 40 years in Hollywood, and you have appeared in some of the most iconic grindhouse movies. Satan Sadists, and as well as having a lot of real life adventure. So I don't know. I guess we're gonna go back. What made you get want to get into stunt work, and I guess what was the opportunity that really made you commit to it?
Uh, well, first of all, I went to Hollywood to be an actor, and all the actors were out of work. And I thought, that's not for me. And there were this group of people I knew nothing about called the stunt people, stuntmen.
Hmm.
And I thought, gee, that's what I'd like to do. It sounds great. Getting in fights and rolling cars and car chases and high falls. I thought that's right down my alley. Um, so then Jack Nicholson, who was just more or less getting started, was going to Utah in a couple of westerns, Ride the Whirlwind and The Shooting. And they were looking for a stuntman and a key grip combined. And I thought, well, that's me. So I just lied. I told them I was a stuntman. I wasn't, but I was willing to learn. So Jack hired me. He said, can you get a horse to get sick, slow down, fall down, and die? And I said, gee, that's no problem. So we went up to Utah to shoot, and I
Hmm.
called a vet. And the vet came over and shot him up with a tranquilizer. So it worked. He slowed down, he got sick, he lay down, he went to sleep, and we got the shot. Jack thought that was just brilliant. So he was talking to Daniel Boone. We were in Kanab, Utah. Daniel Boone Company, TV company, came up there to shoot, and they had four of the best stuntmen in the business: Charlie Horvath, Roy Jensen, a couple of Ted White, and they were looking for another stuntman, but they didn't want to have to send back to Hollywood. So Jack said, "I've got a great stuntman, Gary Kent. He doesn't use pads; he just falls. He's wonderful." So based on Jack's recommendation, they hired me on Daniel Boone. And after they all made fun of me because they knew right away I didn't know anything, but then they started teaching me the business. And by the time I got back to Hollywood, I could consider myself a stuntman. That's how I got started, Daniel Boone.
Yeah, it sounds like you went through the school of hard knocks, just learning, on the job. So I don't know. I guess when you first started learning the techniques of stuntman, did they teach you, certain kinds of way to fall on your back, certain kinds of rolls, or was it, or did you just kind of have to develop your own style and kind of what worked for your body?
Well, you said it. Kind of develop your own style. I didn't know that when you did high falls, you dug up the ground or you put pads underneath the dirt,
Hmm.
so that you would be falling on something soft to be. Then the higher you went, in came the airbags, so you fell in the airbags, which I just picked that up from the stunt guys, and how to stage fights so that the camera didn't see the air between your fist and the guy's chin, so they could see it was a miss,
Hmm.
but how to stage it for the camera so that it looked like a hit. And I started learning all those things from the other stunt guys.
Now, I don't know when you were throwing like those kind of mock punches. Did you do what they do in professional wrestling, where you like stomped your foot on the ground to try and create that sound with it, or was this before they even were recording sounds live in and they just added it on later?
They added it on later. You didn't worry about that. You were so into the choreography of the fight, not wanting to hurt anyone. But it still happens every now and then. Someone gets it right on the chin. Uh, but basically, that's what you learned, was how to stage a fight, how to choreograph it. But you didn't do any of the sound tricks that you mentioned. That was all done later on a Foley stage. A
Yeah,
Foley stage is where they add, well, you know what it is, where they add in the sound effects and things for the film.
yeah, yeah. So I don't know. You worked those first few westerns. You kind of just learned on the skin of your teeth. So did you escape those first few films without any major injuries yourself?
Yes, I did. I put a big bruise on my hip before I learned that you dig up the ground and put a pad underneath. I just fell on the ground and I had the gun. I didn't know you used
Oh,
rubber guns.
yeah.
So I had a real gun on my hip and I fell on that gun and it put a bruise all the way down to my knee. But I didn't care because it worked. I did it and I thought, wow. But then I learned, as I said, from the Daniel Boone guys, I should have dug up the ground. I should have worn a rubber gun. So gradually you learn as you go along. You either figure it out or one of the more experienced stunt guys will fill you in on how to do it.
Yeah, yeah, just kind of like teach you those tricks of the trade. So,
Absolutely.